Good morning. My name is John Paul Horn, and I'm an assistant professor at California State University, East Bay. So, a little about me. I'm a new faculty member in the Department of Social Work at CSU East Bay. I'm starting my first year as a tenure track professor, so I'm very excited about what that means. My teaching focus at CSU East Bay is on youth development and advanced clinical practice and community practice with children, youth, and families. So I look at how community service providers can engage children, youth, and their families. I'm also a care leaver from the United States, and I engage in advocacy at the national and local level. The two pictures that you see are me as part of the Congressional Coalition on Adoption Institute's Foster Youth Internship Program in 2009, and then also with a picture of the program manager for the Massachusetts Network of Foster Care Alumni, because I really think that it's important that care leavers, particularly those of us who are researchers, engage in advocacy. So a little about my work. My previous work includes uh, publishing on mentoring interventions for college students, particularly underserved college students, so students of color, first generation college students, and students who come from low socioeconomic status. I also look at the impact of foster care on adult care leavers, particularly educational and vocational outcomes. And my dissertation really focused on structural stigma as a method of social control in foster care. So, how when negative opinions of foster youth are developed, it creates barriers that prevent them from being able to engage in meaningful activities that are important for their development. My present and planned research activity includes continuing to look at that stigma messaging with interpersonal exchanges between the foster youth and the servicers, so foster parents, group home staff members, and child welfare workers. I'm also interested in the impact of foster care on middle adulthood, particularly for folks who are developing relationships, creating families, and thinking about what it means to be an older adult who has a care history. And I've now recently started looking at mentoring for care leavers who plan to pursue graduate and professional education, particularly folks who are getting ready to leave undergraduate education or who have just left undergraduate education and looking at that type of transition. So some theoretical frameworks and methodologies that I use in my work. I like to use Identity Capital Model by Cody because I think it's a great model for looking at a lot of different capital arenas. I also use Cultural Wealth by Yasso and Emerging Adulthood by Arnett. And some methods I prefer to use are narrative approach, thematic analysis, eco mapping, which you can see an example of to the right, and mixed methods studies, where I try to make meaning of some quantitative results that don't seem to make sense by using qualitative interviews. Some research findings of note in some of my work include understanding that stigma and stereotypes are a significant barrier to help seeking among undergraduate college going care leavers. So if they think they're going to be stigmatized, they may not want to go out and seek service. And in my dissertation, I looked at positive stories and positive messaging and found that care leavers didn't really have a lot of that in their social networks, particularly when it came to people like them, and that the biggest barriers for transition to adulthood stemmed from the overly restrictive rules for youth in care. So thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from any of you who might be more interested in my work and what I do.